recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
In my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Tyre Nichols.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love on me. Is it?
They think we are.
I did not mean to put that up there, beloveds. Okay. I did not mean to put that up there. Do they think we are fools? Okay, so hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, don't forget to double check and make sure that you are still, in fact, subscribed to the channel because people mysteriously become unsubscribed. All right. And so let's get into it. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. I see you, Queen Sam, Miss AP, Nessa G, April, Stacy Quinton, DSB, Dark Skin Brother, Buckhorse DC, RG Titan 504, Nola Pearly. Okay, shout out, Deronda, I see you. A shout out to all of my loyal bros in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Now let's talk about it because first and foremost, everyone please like and share. First and foremost, there was a pastor, a well-known pastor, who was murdered by a man that she was helping to mentor. Okay, talk about ungrateful. She's trying to help this man better himself and get his life together. And for her kindness, he rewards her with taking her life. I want you all to pay attention. Now, this is an Atlanta pastor, like I said, very well known. And so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go.
Details in the murder of an Atlanta pastor. The Chief DeKalb County medical examiner says Reverend Marita Harrell was so severely stabbed that the handle broke off of the weapon.
DeKalb police arrested Christopher Griggs and charged him with malice murder, concealing a death, and several other charges in connection with the pastor's death. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor tells us prosecutors say Reverend Harrell was mentoring Griggs and trying to help him get his life together. Angelique?
Good afternoon to you both. The chief medical examiner here in DeKalb County testified this afternoon, told the jury that Reverend Marita Harrell actually died from 3 stab wounds. The ME went on to say that when his office examined the pastor's body, they found a 6-inch blade that was still in her abdomen. DeKalb's chief medical examiner, Dr. Gerald Gowett, showed jurors the 6-inch blade that an x-ray revealed was still in the abdomen of Connections at Metropolitan United Methodist Church pastor Marita Harrell. Dr. Gowett showed jurors graphic photos of the pastor's injuries at the hands of, according to prosecutors, murder suspect Christopher Griggs.
It would appear to me that when the knife was plunged into her, either when it was plunged in or as it was being pulled out, the handle came off and the blade remained.
Prosecutors arrested Griggs the next day. The state played Griggs' police interview for the jury.
What do you know about the incident that occurred?
I don't.
You know nothing?
No.
The 29-year-old suspect, who had an arrest record when he was questioned, told police investigators Reverend Harrell did stop by his house to talk on the day in question.
What time did she get to the house?
About 2:48 in the morning.
2:48?
Yes.
Okay. What time did she leave?
4 something.
4 something p.m., a.m.?
Probably.
p.m.
Prosecutors had a crime scene technician show video of all the black stains that were on the carpet in the house, particularly in the master bedroom that had no sheets and its mattress pad in the dryer. The defense alleged during opening statements that Lakia Reed, the landlord who rented Griggs the house, killed the pastor. But police and prosecutors don't buy that story. They interviewed Reed, who is a mother of 3, right after the murder and released her.
Miss Reed was very incredulous. She was nervous about being there, but at the same time couldn't believe that this was happening.
Now, jurors also heard from the owner of a carpet cleaning business. He says the defendant contacted him about cleaning the floors at his house just a day after the murder. Live in DeKalb County, Angelique Proctor. Fox 5 News.
Those details still just so upsetting. Angelique, thanks.
Okay, so that's absolutely deplorable. Okay, you try to help someone, and that's the things you get. This is why you can't help everyone. Okay, this is why you can't help everyone. Some people will absolutely just take your life for it. All right. I mean, people have nefarious intentions. Sometimes they want your money. Sometimes they were just an enemy in the first place. Sometimes they're just wicked and nefarious. But at the end of the day, you cannot help everybody. And this should serve as a stark warning to us all. Okay, Terry Hinn said, evil demon. All right, dark skinned brother said exactly, Queen. You know, really sad. My prayers and condolences to the pastor's family, friends, and loved ones and her congregation. Very sad story. Okay, so now let's talk about the case of Tyre Nichols, because as you all know, the trial has begun for the officers that were charged. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. And for those of you who may have forgotten what is the basis of the case of Tyre Nichols is a black man who was beaten profusely, okay, to death by black officers, okay, officers who looked like him, all right? And so now they're being held accountable for it. And the lieutenant actually testified just the other day. So likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
And today, the Memphis police lieutenant who trained the officers charged in the death of Tyre Nichols told the jury that not only did they not follow protocol while trying to handcuff him, but that the other officer should have intervened. NBC's Marissa Parra is following this, and also with me, former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst Paul Butler. So what's the latest we're hearing out of court, Marissa?
Hey, Chris. So you mentioned that we heard from this Memphis police lieutenant, Lieutenant Bright. This is a lieutenant who has been in law enforcement for almost 20 years. Lieutenant Bright is also someone who has trained all of these officers at different times and really did a lot of training on defense tactics, use of force, talked about the tactics on what to do at a traffic stop, how to handcuff, even things like what part of their hands they should use in certain instances. And he says that he warned his students that they could face prison time if they didn't follow these policies. So after watching the footage today, Lieutenant Bright testified that these officers who have been charged did not follow protocol, and specifically said that the protocol was not followed when Nichols was being handcuffed, and that the other officers should have intervened, and said, quote, to the jury, "No resistance is met with no force. Little resistance is met with little force, and deadly resistance is met with deadly force." Now, we understand when that footage was shown, undoubtedly something that was so hard for these family members of Nichols to watch. We actually heard from Tyre Nichols' mother just yesterday. Take a listen.
Our hope is that they're found guilty and to show the world that my son was a good person and he wasn't the criminal that they're trying to make him out to be.
So a lot that we heard in court, Chris. This is just one day of what we're expecting to be several weeks of this trial. And as you can hear from that family, they are looking for closure, but there's a lot of time between now and when they're going to find out if they get that closure. Chris.
Marissa Parra, thank you for that. So, Paul, what do you imagine the likely impact of this testimony might be?
Chris, police officers are very powerful, effective witnesses in trials against other police officers. We saw this in the case involving the 4 officers accused in the death of George Floyd. Jurors are frequently sympathetic to the difficulties of police work, and sometimes they might want to give officers a break. They might think even if the cop made a mistake, she was just trying to do her job. But what we heard today from this expert who's been in the force almost 20 years is that when these officers first approached Mr. Nichols in his car, allegedly for a traffic stop, they had their guns drawn. That's not part of protocol. And the officers have said in other statements that Mr. Nichols wasn't cooperating. He refused to turn over when they ordered him to turn over. So the lieutenant today testified the reason for that is that he was handcuffed. And at the same time that the officers were ordering Mr. Nichols to turn over, they were kicking him in the head, and he had already been maced in his face.
And in fact, Paul, yesterday, the jury heard from the nurse who treated Nichols. She said he was already in critical condition and on a ventilator. When he came to the hospital, she calculated he was without a pulse for about 25 minutes. And again, the prosecutors say, and I'm going to quote them here, that they stood by his dying body and laughed. The autopsy showed he died from blunt force trauma. What do prosecutors do with this testimony?
There's all this video evidence from the officers who were on the scene. Chris, when you see those videos, it looks like a crowd scene, which makes it even more tragic that people didn't step up to help Mr. Nichols. They might have been able to save his life. And so officers will be shown live in person to the jury. And again, that's extremely credible evidence. Now, we have seen cases in which jurors have this video evidence of alleged police brutality and they don't convict. But one of the things we're seeing since the murder of George Floyd is prosecutors are getting savvy at how to win these cases. And most of the recent high-profile cases, there have been convictions. And again, I think this body cam footage is a key part. Jurors can believe their own eyes. And Chris, there's just no legal justification for the way that Mr. Nichols was brutalized.
We only have a minute left, Paul, but we also learned that one of the police officers, Justin Smith, is considering testifying in his own defense. And we talk about how risky it is for a defendant to testify. Why do you think he'd consider it?
You know, I think he understands that the prosecution has a very strong case, and this might be a Hail Mary effort. There are a couple of accused officers who've already pled guilty. But Chris, what's really interesting is that even in those cases, prosecutors are asking for big time. For one of those cops who pled guilty, they're asking for 40 years. And so I think this other officer may be taking the stand. It's risky, but he doesn't have a lot of great options. And his lawyer seems to believe that the state has a very good case.
So there you all have it. Said a very good case. Now let me just go to another clip. Before I get into my commentary, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
No mother should go through what I'm going through right now. No mother to lose their child to the violent way that I lost my child. Thank you.
Here in Memphis, officials are bracing for peaceful protests. That is what they are hoping for. The family of Tyre Nichols urging for calm, saying that she doesn't want anyone to tear up the city, and that is not what Tyre Nichols would have wanted. Officials say Tyre Nichols was pulled over for a traffic stop. They say for alleged reckless driving. Now, officials have said that there was no evidence of reckless driving.
The stop itself was very questionable. We have been unable to verify the reckless driving allegation.
But what happens later, two altercations. Authorities say the first one, pepper spray, was deployed. The second one was more physical during his arrest. An ambulance was called. Tyre Nichols was taken to the hospital, and 3 days later, he died.
Earlier today, the grand jury returned indictments against 5 former Memphis Police Department officers regarding the death of Tyre Nichols.
The officers were fired after an internal Memphis Police Department investigation. Then they were charged by the DA. Those charges were announced yesterday. They include second-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated assault, among other crimes. Police here are bracing for protests expected today after those videos regarding what occurred to Tyre Nichols are expected to be released. His family urging people to stay calm in those protests, saying that they don't want the city to be torn down.
That's not what my son stood for. And if you guys are here for me and Tyre, then you will protest peacefully.
All right, so they're calling for peaceful protest. Now, with that all being said, speaking of peaceful protest, they were protesting for Justin Robinson, and police made some arrests. And so local activists came out and spoke on it. Okay, but before we get into that, I just want you all to pay attention to how it always seems that even when there's peaceful protest, for whatever nefarious reason, you know, the activists are usually arrested. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. And sometimes it's not even warranted. Okay, it's not even warranted in some cases. Now, let's talk about Tyre, because at the end of the day, these officers, you know, they didn't follow protocol. They got out already aggressive. And, you know, it was rumored when this first all came out, it was rumored that one of them was dating a woman that Tyre was allegedly dating. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they were saying, because it seems to me like they had some sort of angst or disdain for Tyre initially upon pulling him over, because they got out with their guns drawn, which is clearly is not commonplace. Okay, that's not what's supposed to happen. Okay, so likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, they say in her opening statements to the jury Wednesday morning, Assistant U.S. Attorney Elizabeth Rogers said that the evidence presented in court will be harrowing, and said that the beating that Tyre Nichols faced at the hands of now former Memphis police officers was punishment. Saying Nichols, who was beaten on January the 7th of 2023, died 3 days later. Rogers said that the beating Nichols received was known as the run tax. Okay, that's what they call it, the run tax by Memphis police, and that the tax was known within the department. So, you know, they were acting as a gang. Okay, and let's not forget that there are numerous police gangs. Okay, specifically, there were the ones that I mentioned, the executioners and the banditos that existed within the LA County Sheriff's Office, okay, when Sheriff Alex Villanueva was in charge. And they likely still exist. Just because he's gone, I'm sure the culture is the same. Okay, but let's continue. So they say, as Rogers described what the government's case against Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, the three remaining defendants in the trial, she says they will be, or she warned the jury about the nature of the footage that is to be released. Surely it's graphic, okay? She says, we're going to ask that you watch Tyre Nichols get beaten to death. Rogers also described what some of the footage showed, emphasizing that Nichols was not even fighting back. She also said that there will be current and former Memphis police officers who will testify that the training they received was not what the officers carried out during that beating. She also alleged that Haley had been informed previously that kicking a detained defendant was illegal. She said that he had been informed of that because he had done it 3 times prior. Now, Rogers also told the jury on Wednesday that 2 officers who participated in the beating and took plea deals before the trial even began, Emmett Martin III and Desmond Mills Jr., they're supposed to testify in the case. So, in addition to laying out the government's case, Rogers added more context as to why Nichols was pulled over initially. According to Rogers, Nichols sped up to beat a red light, and that was seen by Martin, who radioed in the violation to other Scorpion Unit officers. Now, I just wonder, why would they call in the Scorpion Unit, okay, for someone speeding up to pass a light? That already sounds like they were trying to start something. Now, 2 defense attorneys followed Rogers in giving opening statements. Those defense attorneys reaffirmed what Rogers said in her statement, but additionally alleged that Nichols drove for multiple minutes while officers followed him with their blue lights on. All of the officers who initially interacted with Nichols were in unmarked police vehicles. So that's why he kept going. Now, this was the most context, to the initial traffic stop that has been given since Nichols' death. So when laying out the deliberate indifference charges, evidence, Rogers says officers at the scene did not tell emergency personnel that Nichols had been beaten. She also said that his heart stopped at the scene and he slumped over. They literally beat this man to death. Like, this is all so crazy. What type of savages do this to another person? I just want you all to pay attention. And this isn't racist white officers. This is black officers who did this. Now, those were crucial moments, Rogers says, to saving Nichols's life. Okay. Following Rogers was John Keith Perry, who is representing Bean. Now, his opening statements focused on the risk of being a police officer in Memphis. Okay, the split-second decisions that had to be made and alleged that Nichols's behavior warranted the use of force. I find that interesting since they said he wasn't fighting back, and the videotape shows what actually happened. Okay, so they can lie and paint all the narratives they choose. Now, while Rogers had told the jury to focus on the video of officers beating Nichols, Perry told them to watch Nichols's behavior after he ran away from the traffic stop. Perry also seemed to imply that Nichols had left items around a car while running away. So he says that he said the jury would not be asked to judge Tyre Nichols, but to judge his actions for 10 minutes. Perry's arguments also seemed to center around Bean not being aware of what had led to Nichols running from officers in the first place, adding that it would have been a dereliction of duty for Bean to not chase him after when he came across Nichols running from the traffic stop. And so Perry gave a slightly jumbled and scatterbrained opening statement, but he did tell the jury that the force used on Nichols that night was 10% as powerful as what is taught at the academy, adding that the use of force techniques taught are very aggressive. So they were even more aggressive than what they were taught. So Rogers seemed to object twice during Perry's opening statement, one of which led to a sidebar conversation with Judge Mark Norris, and another that led to Norris telling Perry to stop giving questions to the jury. In closing, Perry told the jury that the narrative you hear will take you 5 minutes to deliberate and come back with a not guilty verdict. Well, that's wishful thinking. That's clearly wishful thinking. Okay, after Perry was done, Michael Stengel, Halley's attorney, Stengel's opening statement came out. He gave his opening statement and took the jury right up to lunch break Wednesday and recounted the events from multiple perspectives. Stengel, for the majority of his recounting, only referred to Nichols as the driver, the subject, and a man. Now, I want you to pay attention to this, okay? Because in my experience with criminal law, when they address a victim in a courtroom as simply the defendant, the man, okay, and using terms like that, not calling the person by their name, they're trying to make them, they're trying to really dehumanize them. Okay, they're trying to speak of them in a way so that the jury doesn't feel any empathy or sympathy from them. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? They're using these certain words and terms so that the jury doesn't see this as an actual person who this crime was perpetrated upon. Okay, the driver, the subject, a man, basically trying to dehumanize them. I just want you all to pay attention because their goal is to get no sympathy from the jurors so that it works in their favor. Okay, so they don't see this as a man who was beaten profusely until he was dead by these nefarious, wicked police officers. Okay, just looking at him as someone who was stopped, he didn't comply, he ran, he fled, and so they had all rights to do what they did. That's what they're trying to imply. Okay, so he also said that at some point before being stopped, Nichols and the officers that were following him were going 60 miles per hour down a street that had a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit. Now, similar to Perry's statement, Stengel framed the use of force as in line with Memphis Police Department policies, adding that Nichols was to be defined as a high-risk suspect since he did not stop when the blue lights were turned on. Now, Stengel, however, did not shy away from how Halley acted in the footage. Here's the thing. Why would someone stop if they're being followed in unmarked vehicles? You don't know that's the police. I wouldn't stop either. Like, please make that make sense. Okay? So anyway, even if they turned on blue lights, at the end of the day, if you're in an unmarked car and I see some lights come on, how do I know you're the police? They have people going around here doing all kinds of shady, nefarious things, putting lights on their vehicles and acting like they're the police and pulling people over and raping them, robbing them, and all sorts of things. Okay? Miss AP says these police officers walk around here with all sorts of insanity within them. Yes, they absolutely do. And it's not detected during these psychological exams. And even if it is, they still will sometimes hire them. Okay. Let's take the case of Antoinette Frank, a police officer, former police officer down there in New Orleans, who just committed a whole robbery and murked several people. Okay. So she failed a psychological exam, but yet they still hired her. So this is something that they just seem to do. Okay. And as far as these officers who did this to Tyre Nichols, I don't think they have any type of mental illness, or I don't think it's that they have psychological issues. I just think they're wicked and nefarious. That's what I think. Now, with that all being said, we're going to see how this all turns out, because this was really a brutal, vicious attack that they perpetuated upon him. Okay. Now, they say Sumac emphasized that Nichols was not searched prior to encountering Smith. They say he also tried to separate Smith from the other defendants, saying that he was the only one with the presence of mind to call for medical help. Now, this is his attorney. Smith's attorney is trying to, act like he was, less culpable or should be held less accountable than the rest. Yet Smith stands here indicted for refusing to offer medical help. This is what Sumac said to the jury. Now, after Sumac finished his nearly 15-minute opening statement, attorneys had a sidebar conversation with Norris. And after that conversation, Norris told the jury that some of the opening statements included arguments which they were not meant to have. Okay, these are reserved for closings, and Norris told the jury to disregard some of those things. So, like I said, we'll see how this all pans out. It's just very sad that this even happened in the first place. And condolences again to the family of Tyre Nichols. Okay, the elder Bobby Rashawn's in the chat. Hey, beloved, thank you for tuning in. He says she's on death row in Angola State Prison. Yes, she absolutely is. And her accomplice, Roger Kraz, I think that's his last name, he basically is trying to act like he didn't have anything to do with it or whatever, like he was basically coerced in all of this. Roger Lacaze. That's his name, Roger Lacaze. And he was her 17-year-old boyfriend who helped her with this. Okay. And so Jay Gray said, Queen, talk about their captain. She has done this and encouraged. This is a note. In a note. Say what now? She has done this and encouraged this in a note city down south. That's very interesting. At the end of the day, these people just get away with a whole bunch. Okay. They just get away with doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And then think they're just going to get away with it because, hey, they've seen other officers get away with it. But what these black officers need to know is you're not going to get the same treatment as the officers who don't look like you. Okay. So clearly they had no idea this would be the outcome for what they did. Okay. So anyway, now let's talk about Justin Robinson, because you all know that I reported on him on last week. So now there were protests held in which the police decided to like up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen for this report.
We're following in Southeast D.C.
Yeah, for a second night, we're seeing protests over the death of Justin Robinson. He is the man who was shot and killed by D.C. police earlier this month after crashing a vehicle into a McDonald's.
Yeah, our Katie Lusso has been monitoring the situation in Southeast D.C. all night. And Katie, tell us what's happening out there right now.
Well, as you can see, things have definitely taken a turn out here. What we saw earlier in the night were peaceful protests, people chanting Justin Robinson's name. And I do want to mention, as we start this conversation, that Justin Robinson's family spoke through the Harriet's Dream organization and said they wanted anyone protesting in Justin's name to be peaceful. And that is what we saw going into this earlier tonight. But I want to bring you up to speed on what is happening right now. You can see police officers in riot gear. They have surrounded a group. We are outside of MPD's 7th district, and just in the last 10 minutes, police have confirmed to us that at least 3 people have been arrested, and this is all unfolding in really the last hour or so. So let's take you through what has been going on all night. So there was a protest out here, and you can see, actually, let's talk about this for a moment. This is what we've been seeing on and off throughout the evening. You can see police running towards the crowd out here as we speak, and they are taking some people into custody. So we do know that 3 people at this point have been arrested. We do see an officer over here shooting what appears to be some rubber bullets. So we're obviously continuing to monitor a very tense situation. But again, let's get back to what had been going on earlier tonight. So there was a protest here outside MPD's 7th District. Those protesters then walked over to the McDonald's where Justin Robinson was shot and killed by police last week. They chanted outside of the McDonald's, and then they made their way back up to MPD's 7th District. That was around 9:30 p.m. when they arrived here to the police station. Around 10 p.m. though, so for about 30 minutes, everything was pretty peaceful. A little bit of chanting, people standing around, talking to each other, hugging. But then at 10 p.m., a group started to climb on the fencing outside the police station. Officers started coming out, and that is when things started to get tense out here. The crowd throwing things, bottles, eggs at the officers. About 10 minutes after that, we started seeing officers showing up in riot gear. We saw police arriving in police cruisers. One of the groups chased the cop cars back, throwing stuff, banging on the cars. Again, we then saw even more officers arriving, all in riot gear, and they've been arresting people here and there. We have seen eggs being thrown and bottles being thrown. The group has been pushed back away from the police station, but as you can see, things remain very tense outside of the police station where we are, and this situation just continuing out here. So again, we are outside MPD's 7th District, and you can see people are in the street. They're holding up signs. The signs say things like, "I'm sleep, don't shoot." They say justice for Justin. They're talking about Justin Robinson. Again, this was supposed to be a peaceful protest. Things have taken a bit of a turnout here. We are continue to monitor this situation. At this point, all we know from DC police is that 3 people have been arrested. They said they worked to protect peaceful protesters, but that is not what was happening out here. We will again continue to bring you updates as we get them. In Southeast DC, I'm Katie Lasso. Back to you.
Yeah, Katie, as we watch what's happening behind you, we can only hope that this will de-escalate and soon. And it looks like they're moving Katie and other folks away from that.
Okay, so then they said they're moving the reporter, the news reporter that you just saw, said they're moving her away from the area to be safe. Like, these people are such a threat. The police show up in riot gear when there is a protest with Black people calling for justice. They always assume that it's going to be something violent, or they just want to arrest people, in my opinion, for simply speaking out against injustices perpetuated by the police. That's just what it seems like. But let's go to this other video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Now, after protests turned violent last night in Southeast DC, this is in the wake of MPD releasing body camera video of the deadly police shooting of Justin Robinson. We now know 7 people were arrested last night, and charges range from vandalism to assault on police officers. MPD pledged to beef up security throughout the city. And new tonight, 7 News' Carl Willis spoke with a community activist who talked about those arrests.
This is something that has to stop. You know, these people that are out here are frustrated, confused, scared. They're exercising so many different emotions.
That response coming after police reported 7 arrests after they say a Tuesday night protest over the police shooting death of Justin Robinson turned violent overnight. 7 News spoke with an activist at that protest who called the arrests unjust.
They don't have a strategy on how they protect us. So they're going to keep seeing this type of reaction to the way that they protect us.
Here at the 7th District headquarters, you can see there's a gate now in front of the front door. 7 News also asked how police plan to approach any future protests. They say they've increased presence all around the city, and also say even though these protests have to do with an officer-involved shooting, they'll handle them just like they do any others. Earlier this week, Robinson's aunt said people are angry after the release of police body camera video and further details surrounding Robinson's killing. The 26-year-old who worked as a violence interrupter was asleep behind the wheel with a gun in his lap after a reported car crash, according to police. Police surrounded his car before waking him up and say that he reached for an officer's gun and was shot multiple times and killed.
Imagine being in your car, waking up to someone pointing a gun in your face, yelling at you. I just can't imagine how confused or scared he was. Then to just be shot up like that is inhumane.
As for Tuesday's protest, it began peacefully, but police moved in to break it up just after 10 p.m. when they say demonstrators started throwing objects at officers. According to police, the 7 arrests range in age from 19 to 34 years old, and their offenses include threatening government employees, throwing things at police, defacing public-private property, and stealing government property. The activists we spoke with said organizers were planning a private meeting and a prayer Wednesday night. In Southeast D.C., Carl Willis, 7 News.
Today, the husband of a missing Manassas Park mother is
Okay, so with that all being said, at the end of the day, like I said, they go there to target these people and to brutalize them just for simply speaking out and showing their disdain for injustices perpetuated amongst upon people who look like me. This is what they do. Why do they have to go there dressed in riot gear like they're going to war in Iraq, like they're coming there to do battle? Because this just only further shows the hostility and the anger and disdain that they have for Black people. That's all it shows to me. How about you all? That's all it shows to me, okay? At the end of the day, people can't even peacefully protest without being intimidated. These are intimidation tactics. And when they talk about people, assaulting officers or whatever, is that even true? Because sometimes they've been known to paint narratives, okay? We have to find out the truth when we see the body cam footage. At the end of the day, were the police assaulting them, perhaps? I just have questions. Okay, I don't believe what the police say during these types of incidents. I just don't. So likes up, everyone, please like and share. And once again, condolences, sympathy, and prayers for the loved ones of Tyre Nichols and Justin Robinson. Okay, and also Sonia Massey. With that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. And at the end of the day, all of these people need to get what's coming to them. Okay. All of these people need to be held accountable and they need to get convicted for the things they've been accused of because they absolutely did it. In all of these cases, they absolutely did what they're accused of. And so they need to get punishment for that. Okay. So with that all being said, let's continue because this is absolutely nefarious. This low down, dirty devil came through a drive-through and threw bleach in a young woman's face. Okay, threw bleach in her face. And no one seems to know why. She wasn't rude to him. She didn't mess up his order. No one knows why he did it. Clearly, it was premeditated and pre-planned because who's riding around with bleach in their car ready to throw at someone? Okay, and so please pay attention. I'm going to go to the footage right now. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Oh, so crazy. Here we go.
For a man who assaulted a fast food worker last night. The teen was working the drive-through window at the Burger King on Jonesboro Road when the suspect drove up and threw bleach in her face. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at the restaurant tonight. This is startling, Deidre. You're able to speak with the victim.
That's right, Christine. Very disturbing when you hear the details of this crime. Now, the teen told me she was ambushed, caught off guard by this man who drove up to her drive-through window. She said she greeted him as she does any other customer. Out of nowhere, she said he threw bleach in her face, then simply drove off.
Andrea Alexander met with police detectives Wednesday, recounting the frightening ordeal that unfolded at this Burger King in Union City.
I was really scared. I started screaming and crying, and I was trying to rinse my face out because I just didn't know what to do. I just didn't want anything to happen to my skin or my face.
The 17-year-old Burger King employee was working the drive-through window on Jonesboro Road just before 10 Tuesday night when a man pulled up in a red Chevy pickup and threw bleach in her face.
The man came up to the window. I said, hey, how are you? I said to every customer. I told him what his total was. I thought that he was reaching over to grab money. And when I looked up, next thing I know, he threw bleach in my face.
The man drove off, leaving Alexander stunned and in pain.
At first, I thought it was just water, but then I took a breath and the bleach got in my mouth, in my eyes, and my eyes started burning.
Frantic, Alexander called Mom LaToya. She called police.
It was very scary. She's scared to work. She don't want to go back to work, so it has been very traumatizing for her.
LaToya Alexander said she spoke with restaurant management by phone that night and was told store surveillance cameras recorded the incident.
While we were on the phone, she was describing what she saw in the video. Like she's confirmed the time. She said she saw the truck. You know, she could see what was going on in the video.
Investigators returned to the restaurant Wednesday afternoon as the search continued for the assailant.
We're looking to look at some surveillance, hopefully get some more information to locate the perpetrator and get some justice for the young lady.
Andre is too frightened to return to work and is urging other restaurant workers to be on guard.
It's just very traumatizing. I don't want to be left alone. Like, it's hard.
Now, a company spokesman tells me that they are cooperating with police. Anyone with information in this case is urged to contact Union City Police. In Union City, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
All right, Deidre, thanks so much.
Okay, so also nefarious, and you know what I'm just sitting here thinking? I'm thinking that to protect people in drive-through from such things as this occurring, well, they probably need to start having like a screen, you know, or keeping the glass closed, right? And then having something at the bottom. You know how you go to the bank, when you go to the drive-through at the bank and you have to put your information in that little bin that they push out? Well, maybe they should start using that at drive-throughs. Rather than people having to open the window and hand out the food and drink, maybe they should have bins like they do at the banks. Put the food and the drink in there and just push it out so they can retrieve it. And therefore, you don't even have to open the window. Even when you're taking their order, they should have a screen so that when they open the window, there's a screen protecting them from the person in the car placing the order. This is just something that I'm thinking of because this is real crazy. Okay, this is real crazy. He could have really damaged her. She could have been blinded, throwing bleach in her face. That's real serious. She could have lost her eyesight. Her skin could have had permanent burns. Anything could have happened. What if someone decides to do this with acid or something crazy like that? This is all very sick. Okay, there's some sick people in the world just roaming the streets looking for all sorts of nefarious to get into. So, you know, this is what they need to think about, having those bins so they can put the food and stuff in there and just put it out so that people can retrieve it without having the person who's working being in any sort of danger. Okay, because I find it all crazy. Now, I'm going to go to this other report on this. Jago says it's crazy how a lot of jobs don't have protection from racists. At the end of the day, that man was white. I mean, I'm sorry, that man was black. Okay, the person who did it, I do believe that he was black because, or at least that's the picture that they showed. Hold on, let me pull this up. And this happened in Atlanta too, by the way. Hold on. Okay, so you know what? Hold on, beloveds. Let me see something here. And the thing that gets me is that, do you know that the restaurant didn't bother to call the police? Now, someone rides past, throws bleach in your employee's face, and you don't call the police. You don't file a police report. That's real crazy. The police didn't get called until she told her mother what had happened. But they didn't call the police. Okay, so it says he threw bleach in her face while she was working at the drive-thru at the Burger King off Jonesboro Road in Union City. I'm trying to see if she gives a description of the man because in one post, they have a black man as the culprit. And then in another, they have a white man. So I don't know. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hold on. Let me just check one more thing. Let me just check one more thing. Yeah, I don't see. I can't tell if he's black, white, or what. So anyway, if anyone gets a picture of this man, please let me know. Alice says they don't care about their employees. Yeah, I don't think they do because why wouldn't? And this is a minor. Okay, so why wouldn't you call the police? Okay, why wouldn't you call the police? Dark skinned brother said you got to watch narratives they try to push. They love to make us the face of what they do. Absolutely. We've caught them doing this on several occasions. Okay, let's go to this next report. See if we can get any more details on the suspect. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Kansas City fast food worker traumatized. The teen claims a customer threw bleach in her face and drove off here. Atlanta's first reporter Brittany Ford is live at the Burger King off Jonesboro Road in Union City where this happened. Brittany, she told you she's afraid to go back to work because of all this?
Well, yeah, and she says this was completely unprovoked, which is just another scary piece of this story tonight, that she is sending a message to other fast food workers in the area as a search for this driver continues. A customer pulling up to pay at this Burger King drive-thru off Jonesboro Road Tuesday night.
Well, at first I thought it was water because it was really cold, but then I took a breath and my eyes and my nose immediately started burning.
Turned into a nightmare for 17-year-old employee Andrea Alexander.
And when I looked back up, he threw a cup of bleach in my face, and then I closed my eyes and heard him driving off.
Did he get his food?
No.
Alexander says there wasn't any issue with the man's order or hostile exchange prior to the attack.
I don't know, it's just kind of hard emotionally. Like the first night, it was hard for me to sleep. I haven't really gotten any sleep just because like every time I close my eyes, it's just like I see somebody throwing bleach in my face. You know, I've been trying.
Her mother, Latoya Alexander, says she's concerned about the way the restaurant handled the situation.
They didn't call police. They didn't do any first aid, you know, any like whatever their procedure is when some type of emergency like that happens. None of that was followed.
Alexander doesn't have any serious injuries from what happened, but says she has no plans of returning to work and is warning other fast food workers to stay vigilant.
And I hope that if this has happened to anybody else, that they reach out, and if they have any information, reach out so, you know, I can get justice.
Alexander says the man was driving a red pickup but couldn't recall much else other than that. Union police are investigating and working to obtain surveillance video. I did reach out to Burger King Corporation and did not hear immediately back. Reporting live in Union City, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself. Here's what I find interesting. Now, they said she didn't recall much, but she gave the color of the man's car. She gave a description of the car, didn't see the license plate. Okay, I can see if she didn't see the license plate, maybe he drove off so quickly, but she didn't even say what the man looked like. Or are the news reporters just not saying that? Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Why aren't they saying what this man looks like? I haven't been able to find a picture of him or anything. And then she said, if anyone knows anything about it, please reach out so she can get justice. But how are they not giving us a description of this man? Was he black, white, or what? This leads me to think that he was white, because when it's a white person, very often they don't want to show their face, and they also don't give a description, even if one was given. And I want you all to pay attention, because we talked about this before. With another story, dark-skinned brother says, I think she saw the guy. They probably told her not to say what he looks like. Yeah, that's exactly what I believe. Or she told them what he looked like, and they just didn't say it. They just gave us the information about the vehicle. That it's one of the two. Okay, because she absolutely saw what he looked like. Okay, I mean, you're literally face to face with him, taking his order. So they likely either, like you said, dark-skinned brother told her not to say what he looked like, or they just neglected to say so themselves, which leads me to think that he's white. Because in one of the pictures, like I said, they had a black man's face with locks. Okay, they had him as the person that looked like he supposedly did it, which is also crazy. You have to pay attention, because if you all remember, like I told you, they've done this before. Okay, they've done this before with different stories. And also remember, there was a story that I reported on some years ago where there was a little girl who was almost abducted from a school bus stop. And then when they told the story on the news, they said the man was driving a white pickup truck and he was a bushy-haired man. They didn't say what this man looked like. They didn't say whether he was black, white, or whatever, Asian. They just said that it was a bushy-haired man. Now, I want you to pay attention, because it was found out later that that man was, in fact, white. And so they didn't say that he was black or white. They said he was a bushy-haired man. Now, why would they say a bushy-haired man? Because black people have bushy hair. I want y'all to pay attention how they tried to frame that story and narrative as if it were a black person who did it, when it in fact was not. And they never showed the face of the person during the reports. So just pay attention, because at the end of the day, it absolutely could have been a white man, in which it probably was. And they probably don't want to say, because they don't want to admit that maybe it was a hate crime. I'm not saying that it was, but it's just a possibility. We know what kind of things go on. We know what kind of things go on. So moving right along, now let's talk about this, because this is all so darn crazy. This 73-year-old man was brutally beaten by 7 thugs. One of them was a female. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, this is all nefarious. Luna says, you know they have cameras everywhere. They didn't get the license plate number. Please make it make sense. Exactly. Even if she didn't see it when he was driving away, you mean to tell me it's not recorded? Like, oh, crazy. I'm sure it is. So I'm just going to follow that story and see what else I can find out, because I'm interested to know who this person was and what they in fact looked like. Okay, so now let's talk about this story of a 73-year-old man who was beaten by 7 people.
Beat down.
I'm going to skip past the brawl.
The victim suffered a severe concussion and lost a kidney.
He spent the last 6 weeks recovering from his injuries, and tonight he's speaking out for the first time and says what happened to him is just the latest in a string of violent crimes in Titlow Beach.
The biggest thing you got down here is sunsets, the bridges, great people on the deck.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Not that day.
Not that day.
That day was July 31st.
It was my 73rd birthday.
Mike was enjoying the view at Titlow Beach when he spotted a medical examiner's van parked nearby and used his phone to snap a photo. Surveillance video shows what happened next.
All I recall is...
Yeah, she made a beeline for you. No warning, didn't say anything?
Nothing. It was just bang. All I remember is this body coming at me. And that was the last I remember of everything.
That's because multiple other suspects.
I had a huge mass on the back of my head, and then I had an imprint of a sole of a shoe on my side, and I ended up losing my left kidney out of it.
After he was unconscious, the video shows the suspects just standing around before leaving him for dead.
None of those people who assaulted him, did they render any medical aid? Doesn't appear any of them called 911 on the behalf of the victim that was laying here on the ground.
Tacoma police are hoping somebody can identify the suspects. With no motive for the attack, they wonder if the woman thought she was being videotaped.
She wanted that phone. I can't figure out. Of course, everything in life is on that darn phone anymore.
Did they steal the phone?
No.
The surveillance captured good images of the woman who has multiple tattoos on her arms. Also, shots of a young man who left with her.
There could have been a huge misunderstanding, which we think it might have been, or if there was something a little bit more egregious, we need to get to the bottom of it.
Neighbors in Titlow Park have been asking all summer for more police. In June, bullets pierced a woman's home, lodging in her wall.
I was fearful of how close it was, but I had no idea that it penetrated our house.
Afterwards, somebody put up a display nearby with dolls hung from nooses.
You're basically on your own down here.
Mike wants the city to bring back park rangers.
They've got rent-a-cops now. They have no authority to do anything.
The attack Mike survived has left him more fearful. He still has a long road to recovery, but he's determined to make sure that all of these they'll do the right thing and come forward. I am not as optimistic. So Crime Stoppers of Tacoma Pierce County is offering a cash reward of up to $1,000 if you can identify any of them. Submit tips by calling 1-800-222-TIPS or text the information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. Even though Mike's medical bills have topped $150,000, he is not asking for a dime. He just wants your help to get his attackers identified.
Okay, that's a darn shame. The way they beat that man so mercilessly, didn't try to help. Nobody tried to break it up. Nobody did anything to stop it. Didn't try to call and render aid or anything, get any type of emergency medical help or anything. So very callous. And for what? Because he took a picture? And it took 7 of them to beat up an elderly man. That's real crazy, okay? And he lost a kidney. Prayers for his continued recovery, because that's absolutely egregious. Can you imagine? You're just at the park trying to have a good time, and this is what it turns into? I hope they all get caught, okay? I hope they all get caught, every last one of them, low down, dirty scoundrels. Okay, with that all being said, let me continue. Because at the end of the day, you all may be surprised to hear that the lady who was eating those cats and all that, she got arrested. She got arrested. So let me just pull that up real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then in another twist and turn of events, they basically say have a video of this man capturing a seagull. I don't know what he was going to do with the seagull. Was he going to eat it, as people are suggesting? I don't know, but this is real crazy, okay? I have several questions, is all I'm saying. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's get into it. Because this is all crazy, okay? I'm going to share my screen because this is the woman right here. This is just a brief clip. Skeletor fan said the woman wasn't Haitian Queen. I know. I already said that on the last broadcast when I said I was going to be talking about it. They said she's from Canton and that she's not an illegal immigrant. But the story is still crazy nonetheless. Okay. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
What did you do? Why'd you kill the cat? Smile for me. Smile with your teeth. Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with it.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
You call the Humane Society, see if they'll come pick this cat up. It's deceased.
Okay. This is all crazy. This is all so darn crazy. What in the world is wrong with people? She must have some sort of mental illness or whatever. But this is absolutely crazy, okay? So, people said that it was an immigrant, which proved to be not true, according to further reports and investigation. But what I find interesting is that anybody is sitting up here eating cats, and especially in a driveway, like you're just sitting in a driveway chomping, okay, on Garfield. This is real crazy. So with that all being said, Pretty Wing said, is she on bath salts or something? I don't know. I have no idea. Truth on TV said the portal has been opened. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. Terry King says, what the F, Queen? What's happening? Tell her to eat chicken. I don't know, honey, but Trump knew what he was talking about to a certain degree. He didn't just make the story up, but he had it wrong about it being an immigrant. But that is the rumors they had circulated. Now, this is on Howard Beach in New York. They say this man captured this seagull for lunch. Please pay attention.
Why do you have the bird? Why do you have...
catch you?
Let me have the bird.
Yeah.
I have the bird. I have the bird. I know how to hold the bird. Let go of the bird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to show
No, the bird is not your bird. Take you in for you where you belong. I know you're scared. I don't know what he was doing with you. Get you away from them. Make sure you can fly okay and let you go. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone here. Why do you...
And that seagull, you varmint. What was he going to do with that bird? Okay. Claudette said, what in the world? Honey, he was about to have lunch and dinner. Okay, that's what it looks like. I don't know what that man was about to do with that bird, honestly, but they say that they believe he was about to eat it. So I just find it interesting because why do we have people going around capturing seagulls and eagles? What is going on here, people? Okay, does anyone have a clue? Because clearly I don't. I just want you all to pay attention. Oh, so crazy. So with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay. Now this woman claims, hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Okay. A bar owner alleges that there's a shakedown from the NYPD. And I find this all nefarious because didn't I just tell you all on the last channel that in fact the NYPD is so nefarious and they've been known for doing so much corruption, for decades. Okay. Now they say the iTeam exclusive says Brooklyn bar owner alleges shakedown over NYPD enforcement. So let's get into it. And let's not forget that the police commissioner, resigned.
Investigation in the City Hall and the NYPD and now includes allegations of a shakedown. A Brooklyn bar owner says he was told that his problems with the NYPD would go away if he paid the police commissioner's brother. And he says it was a worker in the mayor's office who tried to help arrange that deal. Chief investigative reporter Jonathan Dienst joins us now with details.
Chuck, the bar owner had his permits, his liquor license, and his share of noise complaints. But what he says he needed, a break from tough NYPD enforcement. Seeking help, he says he was introduced to a mayoral staffer and then to the twin brother of the NYPD's top cop. And then he says he was asked for thousands in payments.
I felt like it was like I got an ultimatum. Like, it's either you get with this or you're going to get shut down. We're going to make sure you get shut down.
Shamel Kelly says it was this man, mayoral staffer Ray Martin, who first told him he could pay the police commissioner's brother to help get better treatment from the NYPD.
He just said that he was assistant of Eric Adams and he know people. And he dropped the Mr. Eddie Caban name because he's, I guess, the NYPD commissioner. And I was having problems with the NYPD.
Later, Kelly says the police commissioner's brother, James Caban, told him he could help with his NYPD problems if he paid him $2,500 up front. The state liquor authority says Kelly's bar was not facing any charges of wrongdoing, but there were dozens of noise complaints to 311 about loud music. Kelly says he felt too many cops from the 6-0 precinct kept showing up, hurting his relatively new business, the Juice and More Bar, along Mermaid Avenue. And he says his pleas for help from the NYPD and local community board were unsuccessful. Kelly said he never expected that Ray Martin from the mayor's office would give him this advice.
He went on about how he thinks that I should just close the bar. And if I don't close the bar, there's only one way to get the police to stop doing what they're doing, and that's to speak to one of his friends, which was the James Caban guy.
James Caban, an ex-cop, is the twin brother of NYPD Commissioner Eddie Caban. Kelly showed us phone records and text messages from August 2023, where Martin from the mayor's office allegedly encouraged Kelly to contact James Caban. Hey, Shamel, reminder to call James. Kelly says these phone records and texts show he and the commissioner's brother discussed the issues surrounding his business, a business which was a juice bar by day and licensed to serve alcohol on weekend nights. James Caban allegedly wrote, spoke to the commanding officer, and the biggest complaint from the community board is that you're registered as a juice bar, and now you're doing parties there. Lots of noise complaints.
If you have a license to serve alcohol, it shouldn't matter. And I also explained to him that the community board knew that it was the summertime, so they knew we were going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday night events.
Records suggest Kelly and Caban also spoke by phone. And that's when Kelly says James Caban asked him for the initial $2,500.
He said that he will mediate my issues with NYPD. He could bring them to me, have a meeting, resolve our issues, is what he specifically said he could do. After he said I had to pay him for it, I felt like it was him trying to extort me. So I just was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'll just deal with it how I deal with it. And it got worse.
Kelly says the Ray Martin and James Caban connection bothered him.
I assumed that you would be like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's call a meeting. Let's figure out what this problem is. I'm not expecting for you to be like, oh, you got to pay me some money if you want this problem to go away. Nah, that doesn't fall with me.
Martin did not return requests for comment. James Caban's attorneys issued this statement Mr. Caban unequivocally denies any wrongdoing. His work as a consultant and acting as a liaison between the department and a private company is perfectly legal, especially given his previous career as an NYPD officer. Our client has fully cooperated with law enforcement, and once their investigation is complete, it will be clear that these claims are unfounded and lack merit. Former NYPD Chief of Department and NBC New York consultant, Terry Monahan.
Everything we heard from the bar owner, if those allegations are true, it's at minimal unethical and possibly criminal in the way that they were dealing with the bar owner.
I've been really like hurt, disappointed, stressed, depressed.
Kelly is not just making the allegations now. He posted his concerns on social media back in February, but at the time, few noticed. As for Juice and More, Kelly closed it down in February.
I don't think it was just me. I think that's probably a thing that's going on in New York City specifically, to be honest.
City Hall late today issued this statement. We appreciate WNBC for bringing this information to our attention yesterday afternoon. After receiving this inquiry, we immediately began an internal review and found that Mr. Martin violated the terms of his employment. Mr. Martin was terminated for cause yesterday. We expect all city employees to act ethically and in the public interest. That staffer, Martin, now fired, and again, he has not returned requests for comment. We just spoke with the bar owner again, and he tells us the feds and DOI investigators are with him, interviewing him this afternoon in connection with the ongoing corruption investigations into City Hall and the NYPD. Natalie.
Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dienst on top of this story with all the breaking developments, getting answers. John, thank you.
Okay, so you all heard that. Just all so darn nefarious. Okay, I told you the NYPD is never to be trusted. Let us not forget, these are the same police that walked out, threatened to quit because people were complaining about the brutality that they were doing. Okay, and because they were threatened with consequences. And then they said, well, if we can't do our job the way we're supposed to or the way we want to, we'll just quit. Do you all remember that? About 3 or 4 years ago, do you all remember that? It's all so nefarious. At the end of the day, honey, I hope they all go down as they deserve to for being corrupt and out here shaking people down. And then that man's not lying. You think that man's making that up? I guarantee you they did exactly what he said, okay? Trying to shake him down, trying to take people's money, extortion, bribery, corruption. This is what goes on in the NYPD and many other police departments around the country, okay? All so crazy and clearly nefarious. All right, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. And listen, let me tell you all something, honey. The devils are busy. The demons are busy. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people doing a lot of illegal substances. And as you know, for those of you who follow the spiritual channel, how many times have I told you, in fact, about these people who engage in the abuse of alcohol and substance abuse and how this opens portals and they become demonically possessed? Now, I'm going to show you this video clip from X. Well, this person is on drugs and they look like there's a whole demon in them as far as I'm concerned. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. It's all crazy.
This fucking tweaker. Nigga was rolled under my fucking truck. Look at this shit. What? This nigga off that vent. Look, bro, I caught this nigga under my truck.
Yeah, he was over here. And
He
he rolled all the way over there, right on the
Yeah, my fucking neighbor said somebody was under my truck. Shit. This fucking tweaker.
Okay, so y'all see that? Y'all see that and tell me that person's not demonically possessed. Okay, this is all crazy. All right. POP said, yep, that's meth. Something is going on. Jago says, I rebuke him. Honey, I do too. Dark Skin Brother said, demon in him. I mean, clearly, look at the way he was just flailing on the ground like that. And then to boot, he was underneath that man's truck. Yeah, this is real crazy. Okay, there's seriously some problems. This is spiritual warfare. And let me just tell you all something, honey. If y'all don't think that some of the people that took that venom is walking around here as whole demons, please think again. Please think again, okay? I just want you all to pay attention. I absolutely think it's all crazy and nefarious. All right, Miss AP said, I rebuke him in the name of Jesus. I do too, honey. Pay attention. So, with that all been said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay? So, with that all been said, Truth So TV said, didn't I just tell you that portal was open? Okay? Absolutely. Miss Eva said, demonic possession is real. Okay? Keep saying this. I keep saying this. Yeah, it absolutely is. Okay, Jay Great said they are finding nanobots in people's blood from venom. Honey, I am not surprised at all. Okay, I am not surprised. So listen, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Okay, so I'm not going live on the spiritual channel today because I have to go back live again tonight at 9:00, about 9:15. And I did put the link in the chat, I think. Hold on, let me just drop the link. That link is to the interview that I'll be doing tonight at 9:15 on the main channel. Okay, so please tune in. Terry Lee King, I love you, right, Black beloved. Okay, so with that all being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And we will be back on the spiritual channel tomorrow. All right, and on Saturday. Okay, so until next time, beloveds, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get.
Okay, someone said, Queen, tomorrow is Saturday. Thank you. I just realized that today is Friday. Okay, I didn't even realize today is Friday. So with that all been said, I'll see you all tomorrow on the spiritual channel. Okay, and enjoy your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. All right, until next time. Peace.